Joining me from Irvine, California is Dan McClory. He's Managing Director and Head of China for Boustead Securities. Thanks so much for joining me. So what's going on here in terms of this secondary listing? Why?
Well, I think at a minimum, Nathan, it's about diversification from the U.S. The anti-China geopolitical rhetoric has heated up so much in the U.S. it's actually gotten into places like NASDAQ and not so much the New York Stock Exchange. And so, pure and simple, Alibaba is diversifying. In many cases, they're being said to bring the company back home by going to Hong Kong and conducting this massive equity offering of $11 billion US.
And what's it going to be using the cash for? You said coming back home, but it does have sort of global expansion plans.
It certainly does. So we can talk about offensively and defensively. I'll talk about offensively first. So in the half a decade since Alibaba came to the public markets at the New York Stock Exchange, it is a far different company. As you know, Nathan, we're talking mobile payments. We're talking cloud computing. This is a company that is involved in artificial intelligence, robotics. There is no end to the areas that they diversified into, and that cash offensively can be put to good use there. Now, defensively, some have made the case to say if Alibaba has to go private and buy its shares back that are listed in New York, or a good portion of those shares, they want to create a war chest to be able to do so. They want to have the flexibility to have excess cash to buy back those shares.
Where do you see the growth area for the company? Because you said diversification, but sometimes companies can diversify a bit too much. It's very good at e-commerce. Could it be as good at AI and the financing of the future, fintech?
Perhaps. Remember, there's overlap between a lot of those areas. You know, the e-commerce strength that Alibaba has is what took them into mobile payments, which has taken them into running their own money market fund as a result of having all of this cash. So they're not totally unrelated areas. I think an interesting area where they are projecting growth is actually in the U.S., where Tmall is now going to be opened up to U.S. merchants. And this was announced some time ago on the heels of President Trump meeting with Jack Ma. And so you're going to see the Americanization of certain aspects of Alibaba, mainly by enabling U.S. merchants to be able to start to transact. Instead, it's been U.S. buyers of Chinese products for the most part. But I think you will see some expansion right here in the U.S.
Yeah, how does that work? Because I remember that elevator press conference between the newly elected President Trump and Jack Ma, and there was a real sense of optimism, wasn't there? 1 million new businesses in the US with Alibaba's platform. But again, how would Alibaba have to restructure it given the defensive posture that it also has to realize?
Well, I think first and foremost, you know, President Trump, just like Mr. Xi, they're very pragmatic leaders. And if this is going to result in U.S. companies being able to sell more products, that is the advent of the opening up of Tmall to U.S. companies, President Trump is certainly going to listen and pay attention and want to help U.S. companies. But remember, Nathan, Alibaba operates with a far different model from, say, Amazon. Amazon, you know, bricks and mortar, owns a lot of physical warehouses, big into logistics. Alibaba, especially when you look at something like Tmall, they have very much delegated that.
Okay, we've got to go because we actually have some breaking news, as we said before at the top of the show.